Today, we're not going to talk about legends. We're not talking about propaganda or war stories. No, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take an aircraft and we're going to dismantle it piece by piece right here to understand the engineering choices that made it what it was. So, let's get our hands dirty. Exactly. We're looking at the Macchi C.202 Folgore as a machine, a collection of problems and solutions, of amazing triumphs, and, well, really tough trade-offs. We're stripping away all the noise to get right down to the metal, the rivets, and the physics that made this thing fly. So this is the core question, right? This is our whole investigation. For a few minutes, let's just forget about who won or who lost. We're here to solve an engineering mystery. What actually made this fighter tick? Okay, so let's treat it like a machine. And the first place you start is with the skin, the actual body of the aircraft. Because its shape, well, its shape tells us almost everything we need to know about what it was built for. Every single curve, every rivet on the C-202 was obsessed with one single mission: reduce drag. You see, in an era where everyone was just trying to build bigger and bigger engines, the Italian engineers knew that real speed came from aerodynamic purity. It's all about how cleanly you can slip through the air. And look at how they did it. This all-metal, semi-monocoque design, that's just a fancy way of saying it was strong but light, kind of like an eggshell. And the skin itself was stressed. It was part of the structure, which let them make it incredibly smooth. But the real key, the absolute game changer, was that long, narrow nose. You could only get that sleek shape with an inline engine, which cut down the frontal area way more than the big, round, bulky radial engines you saw in so many other fighters. It's a simple equation, really. Less drag equals more speed from the exact same amount of power. And that sleek nose brings us right to the engine itself, because this beautiful Italian body, it was powered by a German heart. Yep, this was the Daimler-Benz DB601A, a truly world-class 12-cylinder liquid-cooled engine. It was so good that Italy produced it under license through Alfa Romeo. This is what gave the C-202 the raw power it needed to go toe-to-toe with the best fighters in the world. But you know what? It wasn't just about the horsepower. It had a secret weapon. And that secret weapon was direct fuel injection. Now, while a lot of Allied fighters were still using carburetors, which, could flood or stall out if you went upside down, the DB601 shot fuel directly into the cylinders no matter which way the plane was pointing. Now, this might sound like a tiny technical detail, but in a dogfight, it was literally the difference between life and death. Just think about what this meant for a pilot. You could slam the stick forward, go into a steep dive, and that engine would never, ever miss a beat. Meanwhile, your opponent in, say, a Spitfire, does the same thing, and his engine might just sputter and choke for a critical second. That 1 second, that was a massive tactical advantage. It let C-202 pilots escape or press an attack in ways their rivals just couldn't. And this whole theme, this idea of an elegant design hiding an unexpected problem, it wasn't just limited to the engine. It was built right into the wings. The Macchi engineers were absolute masters of aerodynamics, and the C-202's wings were just beautiful. They gave the plane this incredibly smooth, predictable handling. Ask any pilot and they'd tell you it was a dream to fly, especially in a turning fight. The wing was optimized for pure, stable flight. Pilots said they could feel exactly what the plane was about to do, even when it was right on the edge of a stall. That gives you so much confidence. It made it an absolute monster in a turning dogfight. It was, by all accounts, a real pilot's wing, beautifully engineered and totally reliable. And here it is. Here's the trade-off. The wings were so elegant, so aerodynamically pure and thin, that they weren't really designed with the space or the structural strength to fit the heavy, hard recoiling cannons that were becoming standard as the war went on. Its greatest strength basically became a developmental dead end. Which brings us to the aircraft's biggest paradox. The one thing that defined its combat experience more than anything else, its armament. 2. That's it. For most of its life, the Folgore's main punch came from just 2 machine guns, and they weren't even in the wings. They were mounted right on top of the engine, firing through the propeller. And the difference between these is brutal. The Folgore had 12.7mm machine guns. Its rivals had 20mm cannons. Think of it like this. Machine guns are like drills. You have to get up close and hold them on the target to do real damage. Cannons are like hammers. They fire explosive shells that can literally tear a wing off with just a couple of hits, and from much farther away.
So this created a tactical nightmare for the pilot. I mean, imagine it. You're in one of the most agile, beautiful flying machines in the sky. You can outturn anybody, you can chase them down, but to actually destroy them, you have to fly right into their defensive fire and just stay there. It was a masterpiece of an aircraft that really struggled to be a killer.
So why, right? Why would you build such a magnificent fighter and then arm it so poorly? Was it some huge design flaw? Well, the answer reveals the true story of the Folgore. And this is where the mystery really deepens, because you look at the numbers, and on paper, this aircraft was world-class. A top speed around 600 kilometers per hour, a service ceiling of 11,000 meters. It was right up there with the best Allied fighters of its day. So why was it so undergunned?
And here it is. Here's the solution to our whole mystery. The reason for the Folgore's weak punch. It wasn't a failure of the engineers. The limitation wasn't technical at all. It was a machine of incredible talent, built under conditions of incredible scarcity. Italy's industrial base just struggled to produce advanced weapons like cannons in large enough numbers. There were bottlenecks, there were shortages, there were strategic decisions made based on what was possible, not what was ideal. The Folgore was the best aircraft Italy could build, not the best aircraft it could design.